of Safai Karmachari of municipalities, and then there is a plastic collection and disposal services that we provide to municipalities as well as the bigger plastic producer companies, companies such as Parle, Marico, Dabur. These all are our client with whom we work for plastic and disposal. As far as our presence is concerned, we have offices in Aurangabad and Pune in Maharashtra. Our operations are presently in 7 states. So Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Karnataka. So these are the states where we operate in presently. As far as this session is concerned, there are three issues or topics that I would be covering. One is circular solid waste management, what it means to have a circular waste management system in the city. Second is about the plastic. What are the different types of plastic? How to identify them? How do we manage them? And lastly, I will come towards extended producer responsibility and the part that cluster based plastic waste management that Dr. Ramesh has covered. We will cover that under EPR part. So now starting with the circular waste management system. Before we go into circular waste management, I think it's important to understand what linear system is. So the image that you people are seeing now on your screen, this is our existing waste management system. Not exactly at few locations there might be a better system than what I am showing in the picture, but more or less this is the waste management in our city or at Gram Panchayat. Do you people agree that this is the system that is present in our Gram Panchayat? Do you think this is the way we are managing waste now? Great. Great. So we need to move from such linear process to this circular process. What do I mean by circular process? Circular process starts with citizen engagement. Circular process, by citizen engagement, what do I mean? Your waste, here you can see, your waste is segregated at the source itself. Three bin segregation: wet waste, dry waste, and hazardous waste. This waste must be segregated at the source, at the household level, at the commercial places level. This waste must be transported in a segregated manner only. So at few location they segregate the waste also, but we don't transport it segregatedly. We mix it and then transport it. So circular system involves segregation of waste at the source, transporting as per the segregation of waste only, and then again further processing depending on the type of waste. So for example, dry waste can be processed at material recovery facility, wet waste can be processed at waste treatment facility, and hazardous waste disposal is mostly incineration or deep burial. Though I am telling you that material recovery facility, waste treatment facility, and hazardous waste disposal, these are not three different sites. These all three can coexist at a one place only. A part of the place could be material recovery facility, part of place could be waste treatment facility, and part could be hazardous waste. So what will happen at material recovery facility? All the dry waste, all the valuable material that can be reused, that can be recycled, or that can be converted into other products. Those all valuable material will be recovered at dry waste facility, will be used by industry, and then again will come into our use. Whatever dry waste material we can't use will be sent to the cement kiln. So for example, what can be sent to the cement kiln? The cloth that we get in our waste stream. Generally that cloth is soiled, so nobody uses it. The plastic wrappers, for example, kurkure, biscuit wrappers, those wrappers cannot be recycled. So those can be sent to the cement kilns. And whatever cannot be sent to the cement kilns, like in dry waste, there is a soil content. So that can be sent to scientific landfill. Similarly, for the wet waste, there are multiple options. Definitely, compost is one option, then biogas is another option, Making the briquettes in another option, char is another option, and bio oil is also an option. So transforming from this linear to circular process will require multi-stakeholder approach. The key component of this circular process is segregation at source, transporting waste as per segregation, and processing of waste as per the type of waste. That's it. If we could manage this, it's very easy to transfer from linear to circular process. So this is about linear to circular process. Before I move to plastic, I would request, if you have any question, please write it down. We can take those questions after 10-15 minutes once I finish the session. Is that okay?
Fine.
Yes, sir. Fine. It's all right.
So now, I think most of you know various types of plastic, right? Do you know that we have in general 7 type of plastic? I think everybody knows this, right? Yes. But how many of you know how to identify what type of plastic it is that you are using? Does anyone know how to identify the plastic?
No, sir.
Okay, not an issue. So let's say you bought a plastic water bottle. If you look at the bottom of the plastic bottle or at the printing label of the bottle, you will see this symbol, and in this symbol you will see the number. So basically number signifies what type of plastic it is. So for example, the water bottle that we purchase is almost all the time is PET, polyethylene terephthalate. That's the most common material for making water bottle. But if you look at the water bottle that you use to store water in your fridge at home, those water bottles are made of number 5 polypropylene. So it's very easy to know what plastic you are using. Just look at this symbol. Either most of the time it's at the bottom of the plastic container, and you can know what type of plastic it is. Plastic has variable application. So we saw there are 7 type of plastic, but each type of plastic has a specific purpose. So this one number PET, you will mostly see something bottle, carpet, panel. These are the areas where PET is used. Similarly, the soft plastic that we see around us, this is in almost all the cases. Even the
So your
milk
voice is
of
not clear.
you purchase. Hello.
So your voice is not coming. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Dr. Raman,
Yes,
can you hear?
yeah, no. Sometimes it is cracking, or you can go ahead. I think sometimes yes, it is cracking. Otherwise, it is understandable, but sometimes it is cracking. Go ahead.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So the milk pouches that we see, these milk pouches are milk pouches carry bags are mostly LDP. Carry bags are mostly LDP. The Amazon packaging that you receive, I think most of you shop online or have shopped online. The plastic packaging that you receive your products in, that plastic packaging is of LDP. If you look at the plastic packaging after the session, you might take a look at the plastic packaging. You will see this symbol and LDP written. You can also see which company has manufactured that particular plastic. Why it is important to know the type of plastic? Because when it comes to recycling, recycling happens according to the type of plastic and not if plastic is recyclable or not. So you cannot mix PET with LDP and process the plastic. No, it can't be recycled. So you have to segregate it. That's why knowing the type of plastic is important. Also, knowing the plastic is important because plastic, recyclable plastic especially, has an economic value to it. So for example, these six types of plastic. This plastic can be recycled very easily and has varying degree of economic value. For example, PET can fetch you somewhere around 20 to 25 rupees a kg, but when it comes to LDP, it will fetch you only 5 to 7 rupees. That's why also segregation is important, because unless it is not segregated, that plastic won't fetch the economic value that it should command. So this is about type of plastic. And when we look at the India's plastic consumption, so these are the few numbers. So we are using more than 3,100 crore of dairy bags. So we are all surrounded by type of plastic. To give you the context, India generates about 26,000 tons of plastic per day, which is almost 9.5 million tons of plastic each year. And this consumption will reach 18 million tons by 2030. So we are not going to see drastic reduction in plastic around us. At best, we will see only increase of plastic surrounding us. That's why we need to start thinking, we need to start take steps to manage this plastic efficiently, because we feel plastic has so many versatility, so many uses, that we must learn to manage this plastic scientifically. We understand that plastic, if not handled carefully, plastic if not managed scientifically, it will cause plethora of problems. Water pollution, air pollution, land pollution, every sort of pollution plastic can cause if not managed properly. Issue is we are not able to manage this plastic efficiently, scientifically, and that's why we are seeing this sort of pollution. Again, I don't mean to say that we people are only at fault. Any waste management, any type of waste, it's a multi-stakeholder system. One part of the system is we as a citizen, how we reduce our plastic use, but there are other stakeholders like government, companies that are using plastic. But we need to come together, everyone, each stakeholder, to manage this plastic, because if we won't manage this plastic, and given the increasing use of plastic in our day-to-day life, these problems are going to worsen only, which will affect future generation. We feel that whatever plastic we are throwing, it's coming back, and that's why we have started realizing plastic is harmful. Earlier, we used to throw things, we didn't used to care about it, but now since we know whatever we are throwing or littering in open ground, this is coming back to us through our food, and that's why everyone is worried. Again, we don't need to panic. What we need to do is we need to relook at the way we live our life. We feel plastic itself is not a problem. We being not able to manage the plastic scientifically, that's the problem. And if we can put in policy in place, put in system in place for managing plastic scientifically, we are absolutely sure that plastic problem can be managed. It won't reduce, it won't go away, but it can definitely be managed so that further environment hazard is not caused by it. Okay, now moving, so that's about plastic and why we need system to manage the plastic. Extended producer responsibility is the next step of managing plastic scientifically. So government of India has come up with plastic waste management rules in 2016. They have amended these rules in 2018. So rules are very clear. The companies, let's say Parle, Nestle, HUL, whosoever is using plastic to package their product, to market their product, bring to the consumer and sell it to them, all such companies needs to collect this plastic and scientifically process. This is what the rule says. And all the companies, again, I want to emphasize here, all the companies who are using plastic for packaging their product or marketing their product to consumers, they need to collect back all that plastic and scientifically process it. To take, so let's say example of Parle biscuit, right? What Parle does, Parle buys plastic packaging product, packs biscuit to the distributor or bulk buyers. Distributor then sell it to corporates and sell it to retailers. Retailer give it to consumer, bulk, and we buy through malls as well. Consumer, after using the biscuit packet, either throw it away, litter it, put it in a wet waste or mixed waste dustbin, or segregate that waste, right? The moment we segregate our waste, this waste is either collected by municipality or informal sector. If you throw that biscuit packet, it will cause environmental pollution for sure. Once that biscuit municipality or informal sector, if that biscuit packet is recyclable, it will go to recycling or it will go into the dumping ground and again will create the environmental pollution. So government doesn't want these environmental pollution specifically by plastic. That's why they have come up with extended producer responsibility, which mandates all the companies which uses plastic for packaging products or marketing products to collect back all the packaging and scientifically process it. So this is about the extended producer responsibility. But the same rule, plastic waste management rules, as they ask companies to collect back and dispose the plastic, same rule says as a gram panchayat, you have responsibility to collect that plastic, segregate that plastic and dispose as well. So the plastic waste rules have given alternatives for disposal as well. So high value plastic can go to recycling, low value plastic can go to road construction or plastic waste to oil, pyrolysis, or can go to cement plants. See, companies definitely have responsibility to collect back the plastic, but without gram panchayat collecting and storing the plastic, nothing will happen. That's why plastic waste management rule has mandated gram panchayat as well to collect the waste, to store the waste and dispose the waste. Now, companies can help gram panchayat for disposal of the plastic. So all these recycling, road construction, plastic to oil, plasma pyrolysis or co-processing in cement plants. Recycling has an economic value, so your gram panchayat will get paid for particular type of plastic. But all other disposal methods, this method will cost you money. And unfortunately, our gram panchayat, most of our gram panchayat or cities doesn't have enough economic resources to ensure scientific disposal of plastic through road construction or pyrolysis or applying it to cement plant. That's where companies can help or EPR can help. This disposal cost that we just cement plant, plasma pyrolysis, plastic waste to oil or road construction, this disposal cost can be on the companies. So if Gram Panchayat can collect the plastic and store it, so unfortunately can be taken through extended producer responsibility for sure. That's where Gram Panchayat and private sector can work together for scientific disposal of plastic. Apart from subsidizing the cost of disposal of plastic, EPR can help by providing infrastructure for plastic processing or recycling as well. What do I mean by infrastructure? A simple baling machine, a simple shredder, which will ensure that plastic is transported into volumes. Plastic transportation cost is reduced. So this kind of machine support through extended producer responsibility to Gram Panchayat. Though at a Gram Panchayat level, it is not feasible to set up all the infrastructure because the quantity of waste is so less at the Gram Panchayat level. If you set up the whole recycling plant at a Gram Panchayat level, it won't be economically viable to recycle the plastic. That's why what Dr. Ramesh said is a cluster based approach. If you take 20-25 villages together, they will produce plastic in tune of maybe 200 to 300 kg per day. So we can set up a plastic plant which has a capacity of 1 or 2 tons per day, so that all the plastic is used. For cluster-based approach as well, infrastructure can be provided through extended producer responsibility. And third, a way in which extended producer responsibility can help Gram Panchayat is to create awareness. Some money can definitely be put in to run awareness campaign among citizens in the Gram Panchayat. So this is how EPR can help Gram Panchayats. Since you work closely with the Gram Panchayat, we feel you people are key person to ensure that plastic waste at a Gram Panchayat level is managed scientifically. By visiting municipalities and seeing what EPR work they are doing, in Maharashtra, we work with almost 19 cities to manage their plastic. And across the
Hello?
11 states, we work with around 35 cities to manage plastic. You can see how plastic is managed. Even look at Gram Panchayat as well. They want any support for managing the plastic. Apart from that, you can again speak to the companies, especially the FMCG companies that manufacture chips, biscuits at local level as well, and ask them what they are doing on EPR front to manage plastic at a Gram Panchayat level. If you speak to them, they will also come to know what their responsibilities are, and they will be more than willing to help you with the managing of plastic scientifically in your area. Another thing that you can do is again work with us, wherein we work at a cluster based model, and we manage all the scientific disposal of plastic. Apart from that, supporting you for setting up a cluster level model, designing the processes, designing the material recovery facility, all these things can be managed by us. So these are the three way how you can be part of extended producer responsibility, or how you can go forward as far as if you want to use EPR to manage your plastic waste scientifically. So this is about it. But whatever I have spoken, whether that is extended producer responsibility, plastic waste problem, or circular, all these issues are multi-stakeholder managed. So neither you as a coordinator, nor your city, nor your Gram Panchayat, or neither I can solve this plastic waste circular system or EPR issue. We all need to come together and work towards the one direction, scientific disposal of plastic. We work towards goal of managing plastic scientifically, then only we will achieve success. No single person, no single entity can manage the waste issue on its own. It's a multi-stakeholder issue. All stakeholders must come together to tackle this problem. On that note, I would like to share few habits with you that you can easily incorporate to reduce the plastic use. So at number 5, you can see that in most of the states now, plastic disposable are banned. But if they are not banned in your state, avoid using those. Always carry your shopping bag. Not necessarily you need to carry a cotton bag. If you have plastic bag, that will also use. So we need to reuse all the plastic that you have. Instead of buying water bottle at each and every station, we can carry our reusable plastic bottle. Instead of having our chai in a disposable cup, if you can have your own mug or cup, that would be great. So these small habits, if we incorporate, I think we will do great service to manage our plastic scientifically. And on that note, I would like to finish this presentation, but key takeaways from this presentation that I would like you to take is, you need to focus. There is no alternative. We must focus on circular solid waste management. We must learn to manage plastic waste scientifically, and that's the solution. There is no other way than to manage plastic waste scientifically. And extended producer responsibility can help you achieve circular waste management system as well as manage plastic scientifically. So on that note, I would like to close this presentation and would be happy to answer your questions. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Rahul. Now I think they may have many questions. There is one person raising hand. Krisha, Mr. Singh, you can go ahead, ask your question, sir.
Thank you, sir. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My question is, as you have shown the percentage breakup of plastics, slide, I want to know whether it's area specific or it is related to which year.
Yeah. So these numbers that are there, these
and
are
what's the data source?
yes. So the slide that you are presently seeing on your screen, these numbers are from All India Plastic Manufacturers Association's annual report. These numbers are 2017-18 year. Apart from that, the 26,000 tons of plastic per day usage as India uses. This is from Central Pollution Control Board's report on plastic, that is from 2016. So that number is from that Central Pollution Control Board's report. As far as projection of plastic is concerned, there is a CII report. Apart